Well, good morning and welcome to this edition of Prophecy Notes. This is Brother Wayne Clayball coming from the front seat of my pickup truck here in St. Joseph, Missouri. And this is part 2 of today's broadcast on Prophecy Notes. I was just getting ready to read an article written by Cardinal Francis Arinze, who was considered to be the possible candidate for the Pope back when Pope John Paul II passed away. And let me just read some of the things that he said here. It says that Cardinal Arinze has denied that Jesus is the only way to heaven. In a recent interview, the spirited 66-year-old deputy for outreach to other religions, in fact, let me just say that he was 66 back then, so that's been like 6 years ago. He's in his 70s by now. The 66-year-old deputy for outreach to other religions was asked, so was Jesus wrong when he said that he was the way, the truth, and the life? And Arinze responded, if a person were to push what you said a little further and say that if you're not a Christian, you're not going to heaven, would regard that person as a fundamentalist. Can you believe it? I guess they don't like fundamentalists. And theologically, he would be wrong. I met a man in Pakistan who was a Muslim, says Arinze. He had a wonderful concept of the Quran. We were like two twins that had known one another from birth. And I was in admiration of this man's wisdom. I think that man will go to heaven. There was a Buddhist in Kyoto, Japan. This man was a good man. He was open. He listened. He was humble. I was amazed. I listened to his works of wisdom and said to myself, the grace of God is working in this man. So the interviewer then repeated the question. So you can still go to heaven without accepting Jesus? Is that what you're saying? And Cardinal Arinze expressly responded, yes. That's the man that I believe is going to be the next Pope of the Catholic Church. Now, why do I believe that? Because Cardinal Arinze, and you can read a whole lot more about it here in this book that I was mentioning just a moment ago, and let me find that page. Get me just a second here. This is one of the things I don't like about live broadcasts, because unless you have a table or a podium or some kind of platform to put all your books on or your information on, you're kind of sunk to ask the audience to please wait. And I hope that you'll bear with me on this. But Cardinal Francis Arinze has been the president of the Pontifical Council for Interreligious Dialogue from the years of 1984 to the year of 2002. It says here that he has been responsible for dialogue with Muslims, who form half of the population of Nigeria, which is where he currently is assigned. It says that he's had very good relations with them. Goes on to say that the great achievement of Pope John Paul II is to have dealt with communism, and they believe that the next challenging task for the papacy will be that of dealing with Islam. Now, because this man is himself extremely entrenched with the Muslim faith, and because in even the European countries, many of the leaders in those countries are meeting together and discussing what they're going to do with the Islam factor, because it's becoming a very popular and powerful entity in all government issues. I believe that this next Pope is going to have to answer the question of the relevancy of the Islam factor. And I just want to mention here that back in September the 20th, 1998, there was an international reform group entitled We Are the Church. They got together in Austria. I guess they began in Austria in 1995. They got together and listed what they believe should be the issues in deciding the next Pope. Now, I don't want to read the whole thing to you, but let me just read a few because I think you'll find these interesting. They say that the next Pope should be a visionary leader, one who promotes a profound discernment on church ministry by all the people of God and calls them to consider the possibility, now listen, of welcoming into ministry all those qualified, whatever their gender, whatever their marital status or their sexual orientation. You see where that's going? A respecter of the consciences of Catholics who calls forth a genuine public dialogue on the theologies, moral teachings, and policies in the church. A leader who recognizes the cultural pluralism of the church and celebrates the diversity that flowers in different parts of the world. An ecumenist, and this is what got me more than anything, who engages in serious dialogue, who is a student of religious traditions other than Christianity and Judaism, and welcomes interfaith dialogue. Again, we're talking about the Muslim faith. He must be a lover whose arms embrace the world and whose policies express a special solidarity with the poor and the oppressed. He must be a lover of the earth who recognizes and promotes the integrity of all creation. Now, this kind of gives you an idea of what they're expecting for this next pope. And Francis Arenzi actually fills the bill. And I honestly believe that he will be the next pope. And that's something that we're going to have to wait and see. Well, I have a whole lot of other things that I need to bring to you here this morning. I guess I'm going to have to go to a part 3. I hope that you'll stay tuned for this. I might have to break these down and bring them up again tomorrow. I hope that you'll get a chance to listen to all of these broadcasts. They are in succession, and I will do the best to get them up for you so that you can listen to them. And if you have any questions, write to me at wclaybaugh@gmail.com. That's WCLABAUGH@gmail.com, and I'll try to answer them as quickly as I can. I'm also working on the website this weekend. That's at prophecynotes.org. prophecynotes.org. There's a little bit on there right now, but some of those things are going to have to be updated, and I'm, of course, going to add a whole lot of other things as the days go on. So you make sure that you check that out, prophecynotes.org. This is Brother Wayne Claybaugh coming to you from the front seat of my pickup truck right here in St. Joseph, Missouri, and I'm going to be right back. Can you believe it? For part 3. God bless you.
Let the righteous rejoice at the sound of his voice. Let the word be proclaimed. Let the word be proclaimed. Let the message be sent to receive and repent, for he's coming again. The hands on the clock are